So hopefully everyone is safe and healthy. Thank you so much for attending the echoAR workshop. Again, this is being recorded. Please, everyone, if you can mute your mics, that would be great. So today we're going to talk about echoAR. We're going to talk about augmented reality, virtual reality, and cloud technology. Please feel free to write any questions in the chat. This is a live conversation. I will talk through a bunch of things and introduce you to a new concept and show really cool demos. But feel free to ask any questions in the chat, so this could be a dialogue. So first of all, let's talk about echoAR. We are a New York-based company, basically providing tools, the network infrastructure for companies and developers who want to build augmented reality, virtual reality, and three-dimensional applications. We've been around for a while now, serving more than 800 developers who are building applications for retail, data visualization, games, and more. You should have received a link through your hackathon organizer that basically will allow you to register for our platform for free and get premium features completely for free. So basically, if you use that link, you'll be able to register and get access to our premium tier completely for free for the duration of the hackathon, and even more than that. We also are sponsoring a prize for the best project that uses our software, so make sure to do that. So let's start. So a little bit about myself. My name is Alon. I'm the founder and CEO of echoAR. Did my master's at computer science at Columbia University, specializing in AR and VR. Did my undergrad in computer science, electrical engineering, so obviously a certified nerd, and a big supporter of the AR VR space. Let's level set here a little bit. Let's talk about what is AR, what is VR. So virtual reality, or VR, is when everything around you is digital. Basically meaning that everything around you is a CGI construct. Your vision is included, right? So basically you're wearing a headset that doesn't allow you to see into the real world, and everything is being projected towards you, as opposed to AR, when we still see the real world, but we have digital assets overlaying that real world. So basically we're looking through either a video see-through or an optical see-through, like smart glasses. We're able to see the world, but there's extra stuff in it. There's 3D assets in the world around us. Classic examples of this is the amazing movie Space Jam with Michael Jordan, where an example of VR is when Michael Jordan goes into Looney Town, everything around him is a cartoon, nothing is real, and he's able to interact with digital beings in a digital environment, as opposed to what's happening in the next part of the movie, in which Michael Jordan meets the Looney Tunes in his world. They're coming to our world to play basketball. They meet Bill Murray. It's a really cool distinction of how basically we are injected into a digital world, or the digital world comes to us. Real world examples of this, as opposed to what we have with just a movie, is obviously Pokemon Go. That is a classic use case of augmented reality. I think someone tries to present the screen. Please, participants, do not play around with the presentation. So classic example is augmented reality, in which basically you're able to interact with digital monsters in the real world, as opposed to virtual reality. That's an example like Beat Saber. They're able to play with the music on, with this beat game that basically allows you to slash and play around with things in a completely digital environment. Nothing around you is real. Another great example is something that I did in my thesis back at Columbia University. We took CT and MRI, converted them into 3D, and basically allowed physicians to look inside the patient. What we did there is we took 2D scans, converted them into 3D models, uploaded them to a headset called HoloLens, and literally gave the physician a real-time view of what's going on inside the patient and how their heart is operating and how their aortas are operating. Really cool use case. I personally was able to scrub into these surgeries, and it was really an amazing experience to see how useful AR VR can be in a surgical setting. The problem was that I had to do something that I really hate, and that's waking up in the morning. I had to wake up really early, go to the hospital, and do that process of taking the content, converting into 3D. And that was really frustrating because as a developer, all I wanted to do is just manage and deliver content. And switching a heart or a lung or whatever, that is something that like people at the hospital could potentially do. So we saw that there's this problem of managing and delivering content. And when we talked to other developers who are building augmented reality applications for games and retail, data visualization, and shopping, they literally all said the same thing, that there's no easy way to manage and deliver 3D assets. But when we look at the past, we see that this problem was solved for 2D data, right? Like if you want to build things in the web, you can use Heroku as a backend as a service for web. If you want to build mobile applications, you can use Firebase or Parse to basically provide you with a backend as a service for that. So we're asking ourselves, like, who will create the same for this new type of content, if it's AR, VR, 3D, MR, XR, call it whatever. And that's why we've created echoAR, basically a cloud solution for AR, VR, and 3D that basically allows you to build and deploy 3D apps and content across devices really, really quick. So I'm going to transition to a demo right now and basically go through how you can build apps like really, really quickly. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. So what you see right here, basically, as long as hopefully you can still see my screen, what you see on the left here is the content management system, and on the right, you just see my phone. So I'm going to do something super simple. Again, you should have registered to get access to this platform for free through your hackathon organizer. It will basically allow you to do exactly what I'm doing right now, play around with the system and create applications like really, really fast. So what I'm going to do right now is something super simple. I'm going to upload a fan favorite 3D model of the Empire State. Again, we're a New York-based company, so playing around with the Empire State will be fun. What I'm doing right now is I'm taking that 3D model, I'm uploading it to our cloud, basically allowing it to be converted so it will work on Android, iOS, Magic Leap, HoloLens, you name it. All I have to do is just like either drag and drop, or we provide in this screen, we provide a bunch of 3D models that you can choose from, or you can choose and upload your own 3D models or videos. Once that's done, you'll see a preview of the 3D model right here. I'm going to do something super simple. I'm going to open a sample app. Obviously, most of the developers have their own app. It will stream the data from the cloud to the device. And now the camera recognizes the floor in my apartment. And there you go. Suddenly the Empire State is here with me. I can walk around it. I can walk inside. Super, super simple. All I have to do is just upload and press the application. You can download the application here if you want, or the SDKs themselves that will basically allow you to build an application like that. So now, okay, so we uploaded this 3D model. We looked at it in AR. Very cool, very quick. What happens when I want to change the content? So instead of rebuilding an application or doing anything technical, what I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to delete the previous entry. I'm going to upload something else, and it will automatically upload and automatically change across all platforms. So let's do, instead of this building, let's do another New York staple, this apartment building. I'm going to upload that. Again, same process. We convert and compress that 3D model so it'll work on Android, iOS, you name it. I'm going to open the exact same app right here. Plug in the same API key. It will stream the data again from the cloud to the device. And then we'll be able to see inside that Empire State. There you go. We have this apartment building that I can walk in, I can walk out. Super, super simple. Now, the thing that I mentioned to you guys is that this is actually a cross-platform that has cross-platform capabilities. That means that you don't even have to do it only on Android. Another example that we can do is, for example, is through the web. So what you just saw is the camera recognizing a floor. So the camera had used computer vision algorithms to understand that this is a surface. The same can be applied through the web, for example. So I'm going to open a tab on my website, go to our website /webxr, and we'll stream the data to the browser instead of an app. And then we'll be able to see a very similar experience, but you don't have to install anything. We, for example, work with clients who really preferred using a browser because then they don't have to force their users to download anything. They can just like stream it through the website. So super, super simple. But again, like you're able to do the same thing through Echo. You're just uploading one 3D model, and suddenly it works on Android, it works on web, you name it. And again, feel free to ask any questions in the chat if there is anyone. So we just saw Android, we saw web. Let's take another step forward and see how that works with Unity. That's a game engine. We have a question here. Does it work with a smartphone which are not AR code enabled? Yes. So the web, and we'll see it in a sec, could work in smartphones that do not have ARKit or ARCore, and I'll show it to you in a sec how that works. Great question. What's the frame rate with WebAR? Around 60 frames per second. It's really, really good and really, really fast. It might not show right here specifically, but in a sec, we'll do a live demo that you can scan something with your phone and see how fast it is. Maybe we'll do it even now. So let's go back to the Empire State. Let's put that. And actually, let's do a WebAR example that everyone could use. So I'm going to do, yeah, the APK is definitely available, and you can download it right here on the downloads, or just or download it through the App Store. So I'm going to do something super simple. So like I just clicked here when I uploaded the 3D model. I clicked this icon to basically spawn this QR code that you can scan. You can actually scan everyone if you want. You can actually scan it right now with your phones too. Your camera should recognize the QR code. It will redirect to a website. Like you don't have to install anything. And automatically, once that website is loaded, you'll be able to see the Empire State popping out and overlaying that image. And that goes back to your question about like frame rate and all that. You'll be able to see it on your phone right now, and you don't have to have any ARKit or ARCore. What we see here, as opposed to what we saw earlier, is that instead of having the camera recognizing a floor, now the camera recognizes an image. So the camera basically has image detection as opposed to surface detection, and it is able to overlay 3D content on top of that image. Do we need any software? No, just scan this QR code that you see on the screen right now, and that's it. Just scan this thing with your camera or with any QR code scanner. It should open the browser, and you're good to go. So super, super simple. I'm going to leave it a little bit right here. Is WebXR based on A-Frame? Yes. So A-Frame, for those who don't know, is a AR viewer framework that is really used for web, and basically has specific HTML tags that work really well with AR VR. And WebXR basically allows you to connect the camera and spawn that camera and do that image recognition or surface detection. And A-Frame just facilitates the same. How does this differ from Vuforia? For Vuforia is another AR camera SDK, very similar to ARJS or WebXR that you can use, and we support as well. So if you want to stream data that we manage to Vuforia, you can do that as well. The only difference is that Vuforia doesn't do web stuff, but Vuforia, we support Vuforia as well if you want. Any other questions? Trying with Pixel 2. So if you're trying to use the, hopefully you're using Chrome, or try to update your browser, that should relieve the jitteriness. Is Safari? Yeah, so Safari is the only browser on iOS that has camera permissions. So definitely use Safari when you do that. Right now, again, this is ARJS. I would really recommend scanning it right now and playing around with it a little bit. Is there any difference from SparkAR? Yeah, so SparkAR is the SDK only for Facebook and Instagram. That only allows you to publish to their platform. With us, you can publish to web, mobile, Unity, whatever, and we'll see it in a sec. So we saw mobile, we saw web. Let's take it another step forward and see Unity. So Unity is a game engine very popular that people use for game development. Whoops. Let's put this back here. It's a very popular game engine for game developers. I love it. Our SDK for Unity is actually the most robust, and I'd actually definitely recommend for you guys to build things in Unity. But it gives you the same surface detection and ARKit and ARCore support. So I'm going to put the same Empire State that we saw right here on the floor. But let's take it a step further. Let's say I want to change something in real time. So what I can do is I can swipe the card right here and add some metadata. So I can add data to the 3D model in real time and only specifically affect this 3D model. Let's see how it works. So I'm going to do something like direction. Let's say I want to animate it in real time. I'm going to do direction equals right. I'm going to press click, and automatically the Empire State will start rotating. So this is obviously like a really simple example of how you can add animations in real time. Let's do other stuff. Let's transform it a little bit. Let's do scale equals 2. Boom, suddenly it's really, really big. So these are obviously like small examples, but this shows how you can use Echo to stream data in real time. And you can basically affect your app without recompiling it, without doing anything technical. You just like add some information, and then it changes based on the scripts that you embed. Any questions on that? We have a question, can we build a measurement app? Yes, definitely you can. You can use, you can build a really, really easy measurement app on through Unity, to be honest. And I think there's like a bunch of open source projects on GitHub that allow you to do it. It's super, super simple. What's happening under the hood with ARKit and echoAR is that they're basically using those measurements as data to facilitate the triangulation of the floor, and you can take the same data and present it to users. Perfect. So we saw web, we saw mobile, we saw Unity, we saw how to do things in real time. We saw how we can scan QR codes automatically to see 3D assets, which was really, really cool because you can do that yourself. Let's take it a step further. Let's do other types of content. So we saw 3D models. Let's do videos as well. So I'm going to upload, instead of a 3D model, I'm going to do a custom video. So let's do, for example, what I have here. Yeah, let's throw in this MP4 file of just a short animation video, uploading to the cloud. Again, same process. What happens right now is that we basically just convert and compress the video instead of the 3D model. Once that's done, same process. We can open the QR code. I'm going to scan it right here. Again, it will redirect to a website. Super, super simple. You don't have to install anything. And once the camera detects the QR code, we'll be able to see a video on top of it. So for example, we're with a bunch of companies who use this feature to do like a scavenger hunt in AR, or do like a healthcare, basically printing all these QR codes, putting them around town, then people can scan them. It will track people to track, COVID spread and stuff like that, or have informational videos on coronavirus and stuff like that. So super, super simple. So we added these, so we saw that we can do, again, web, mobile, Unity, videos, 3D models. Another cool thing that you can do is like change the target. So I'm going to delete this for a sec, and I'm going to use a different target, like a custom image that I want to use. So I'm going to, instead of the, let's do this fox maybe. And let's do, instead of having the target to be anywhere, basically forced to be on any surface or any image, we'll put a specific image on. So I'm going to upload an image as well. And then instead of scanning the QR code, I'll be able to scan this specific image to see the 3D model overlaying it. So I'm uploading, again, the new model, and I chose a different target. Again, that will upload. It will take a sec because, again, now we convert the image as well. Perfect. So I'm just going to scan the QR code to trigger the experience, but you'll see that the QR code won't work as the target anymore, and I'll have to use my custom image. That means that, for example, you can upload your logo or your headshot, and then that will be the target for the 3D model. So I use the QR code just to scan and be redirected, but now I need to go to the marker that was generated, and only when the camera detects this marker, again, the image that I uploaded, will be able to see the 3D model. So this is, again, a way for you to use custom images to basically overlay them with 3D model, or videos as well. Oh, we had a bunch of questions. Let's see. Custom, yeah, it's so WebAR this is ARJS. WebAR is mostly, it's a different side of SDK, but you can definitely do that. But yeah, you can use custom images as I just showed, add anything that you want. Is it possible to interact with augmentation? But yeah, we'll see in a sec how you can do API calls and how you can do things in Unity. Is Unreal supported? Yeah, Unreal is supported. We don't have an SDK for that, but you can just really just like RESTful APIs. How do rotations in 2-direction 2-axis? Super easy. I'll show it in a sec. And you can refer to our documentation to see what keywords you need to use to basically do these rotations. Let's see. What else do we have here? Do we need 3D image to upload and view? So again, you can use any 3D model or any video that you want. There's a bunch of them here, but you can also go to websites like poly.google.com, grab any 3D model. Yeah, this is like Google Images for 3D models. Like for example, if I'll do building right here, it will just give you a bunch of buildings that you can use. I think I used one of them in our example. Yeah, I used this apartment building in our example, so you can do that. Do you need the navigation AR app? So you don't have to, again, like you can do a web AR thing and then you don't have to specifically create an app, but it's pretty easy as well. Can Echo be used for VR? Yes, it's the same thing. You just drop the camera SDK and just use a VR SDK. What type of format does this support? FBX. So you can do OBJ, FBX, GLTF, USDZ will convert everything to everything and make sure to stream the right format once you integrate the SDK. Is it possible to connect to a pre-built app? Yes, definitely. I'll show it to you in a sec how to do that. All you have to do is just integrate the Unity SDK and you're good to go. So let's see. So we saw web, we saw mobile, we saw images, we saw videos. Now let's do a concrete Unity example. So right now on the screen, you'll be able to see, this is an empty scene in Unity. Again, that's a game engine that is very popular to build AR/VR applications with. You can download the Unity SDK here. So basically just like do Unity SDK, it will start downloading automatically. Once the SDK is downloaded, just double click that and that will open, basically will open this, let's maybe do that. So once that SDK is downloaded, yeah, all you have to do is just click it and then it will load the SDK automatically to the open scene in Unity. Right here, if I'll go to echoAR examples and then samples, it will open this against empty scene, but it has the echoAR game object right here. So let's do something super simple. Do we have the Empire State here? No, so let's upload the Empire State again. And let's just add my API key here. So blue water, press play. And that's it. Super, super, super easy. You'll see that the Empire State will stream automatically. There we go. We have it right here. And all we had to do is press play. So super simple. But the minute you have the SDK in, you can press play. And you already have this like a VR experience that you can play around with. If you want to have AR capability, you just embed a camera SDK. Super straightforward. And I'll show you everything in our documentation as well. So now let's say I want to change things again. So again, we just go back here. We do direction equals right. How much RAM does the Unity SDK need? The entire SDK is like 3 megabytes, so it doesn't have to be a lot. Once it's running and streams the 3D models, then it will take some more memory, but we compress the 3D models to be like super, super small, so that shouldn't be an issue. So let's do again direction equals left this time. And when we go back to Unity, you'll see that it starts rotating. Someone asked about rotations in different axes. So we can do X angle and do like, I don't know, 25 degrees. And there you go. So suddenly we have it flipped to this degree. Super, super simple. And then we can do, I don't know, Y angle. And do, I don't know, 15 degrees, whatever. And there you go. It's slanted on the y-axis as well. These keywords are accessible right here. So if you go here and do documentation, you'll be able to go to our documentation right here. It has everything. It basically describes everything I just did and allows you to do the same. There's keywords that you can use here. Like if you go to Unity and then using the SDK, I will explain how to, like what keywords are already predefined for you to use. How will Unity SDK distinguish of the examples have more than one 3D model? Oh, no worries at all. So let's upload another 3D model right here. So we have this, let's do the Fox again. Go back to Unity. You'll see that automatically, like I didn't even stop Unity, right? This is like how the how this thing works in real time. And you'll see that the Fox is already here. So all I had to do is like upload it, and suddenly the Fox is here as well on the building. Let's move it a little bit. So let's do x equals 10. And there you go. Suddenly the Fox moved automatically. So you can add as many 3D models as you want, and it will automatically show. Super, super simple. So you can add as many, you can like literally design a scene. And the cool thing about it, if I stop the scene right now, everything disappears. Like it's not here, it's only on RAM. Once you press play again, it will actually recreate the scene, because this is like a stateful content management system that basically allows the CMS to remember. So remember, like the same scene of like the same orientation of the building, the same location of the Fox is almost saved automatically. So once I close this, the scene is empty. But once I press play, bam, suddenly everything returns to the same position that it has. Does the API count the viewing during the development? Yes. So API calls are counted. But again, if you use the link that you get from the hackathon, you're going to get like our premium features, which has like a lot of API calls, more than you'll need throughout the hackathon. Yeah, you'll have to install echoAR with the Android app. Definitely. So make sure your app, but if not, again, you can use the web QR codes, and they don't require ARKit or echoAR. Is it possible to implement face tracking in Unity? Yes. They have an SDK called eAR Foundation that you can implement, and then they have really cool example codes that you can just like play around with, and that's it. It's super, super straightforward, and you just hook up that SDK and then just stream the data to it. Can do integrate with yes, you can. So if you have an ARKit app, you can. Unity basically has, again, a framework called eAR Foundation that works really well with ARKit. You just integrate with that and use the same SDK and embed the Unity as a library. Super easy. Asking project key. Yeah, so you have to register for our platform through the link, and then you'll get an API key and use that. Okay, so can we set up a scene in Unity and upload it to Echo? Yes, and the Unity SDK, there's a way for you to save 3D models and upload them to Echo. But you can like send data back with, if you know the entry, you can send data back of like x equals 5 and stuff like that. Is 2 gigs a regular? Yeah, definitely for the web examples. This specification seems like enough. Someone tried to take over the presentation. You will be removed if you do it again. Okay, so we saw, is there a size limit to upload? There isn't a size limit, but it will take more time to upload if you use like really large models. We support models up until like 1 gigabyte, but again, it will just take more time to upload. I'd suggest playing around with like smaller models in the beginning, but even if you upload something like really big, we'll compress it on our backend automatically and send a smaller version anyway. Okay, so we saw web, mobile, Unity. Let's do some really quick Unity coding example. So I'm going to, let's delete these. Let's upload something here. I don't know. Let's do the Fox again. Oh, and you can also register for our Slack channel right here and ask questions in our support channel. If there's anything throughout the hackathon that you're struggling with or need help, just click here, join our Slack, and ask things on our support channel. So let's do something simple. So every 3D model that's being instantiated, and we'll see it again, has for the person who's asking for a project key, you need to register for our platform, and it will automatically provide you with a project key. So we just stream the same 3D model, you'll see that there's a script here that's being attached to it called custom behavior. That is a script that you can edit and basically add more functionality to the application. So you can do whatever. Yes, we do support 360 videos, and yes, any models are converted to other generic formats automatically. So let's look at this quick example code. So I added here, so this is a really boilerplate Unity script. It has a start and an update function. What's cool about the start function and update function, that's, if you think about it, when you're coding in 3D, the frames are being rendered to basically facilitate the scene, as opposed to just an image sitting around. So every millisecond almost, like probably faster than that, you have a frame being rendered, and you can basically change how the app operates based on that understanding. So the start function is something that happens once in the beginning of the loading of the script. The update function happens every single frame. So it's like an infinite for loop that happens all the time, and you can change it, and you can add any content and anything that will happen during this during the running of the run process of the app. So let's do something simple here. So we have in the starts function, I added this cool snippet that basically queries the entry for additional data. And then if the additional data is called the name, we'll set the name of the game object. So let's go back here. When I press play, you see that we have Arctic Fox here. This is the name of the game object is Arctic Fox. But if I'll go back here, let's stop the scene, and I'll do, I don't know, let's do Kevin. That will be the name. Let's do name equals Kevin. That's a good name for a fox. And press play again. You'll see that again, the script calls the start function, queries the data, and then instead of being called Fox, it's called Kevin. This is obviously a really small, simple example, but this shows you how you can do custom data. You can do whatever. You can have flags to enable or disable features, whatever you'd like. Now let's do some small change right here. Let's put the same snippet of data. Let's put it in the update function and see how that changes stuff. So now that it's in the function, this thing happens every single frame. So now again, I press play, we'll see that this thing is still called Kevin. But then if I'll change it in real time here, for example, for, I don't know, Matt, it will change here as well, just because it's in the update function. When it was in a start function, that wasn't the case. It wouldn't change. Any questions on that? So the point is that you can basically add any functionality, any key, any value, and basically use the way to query data really easily. So that's, you can enable, disable features. You can add features remotely. Someone here is saying that it's cool. Yeah, it's very cool. Super, super, super simple. And again, that could be anything. You can just, it can, like we saw, controlling the scale, controlling the location. This is this script that does that basically does that automatically for you. But after that, again, you're limited only by your imagination. Is the thing that you can do. I can show another coding example. I'm not sure if we have time, but let's see. I'm going to delete that. Any questions so far what we've seen? So we've seen web, we saw mobile, we saw using QR codes, we saw our Unity SDK in action. We have a question here. Is it like a socket type thing? Yes, exactly. So this is a web socket that we implemented in our servers and in the SDK that basically allows almost like push notifications for 3D. So we push data automatically to the 3D file. And as you can see, like it only affects like the specific 3D file that you put data to it. It doesn't affect everything, right? Like we only change the name of the fox and then the name of the building. Great question. So let's, another thing I didn't show you is like you can actually tag the data with location. So I can do like stuff in like New York, and it will tag the 3D model with a location, like an extra layer of data that you're able to query if you want. So for example, you want to build one app, but when it opens in New York, you want to stream one amount of data, and when it opens in, I don't know, California, it will stream something else. So this is like a really simple example of how you tag it. Let's go through some extra features that we have here. So we have data that this is the same back of the card. You can add global data, like extra things that are not constrained with a model, like anything you want. What's the compression ratio like? It really depends on how much, like how big your model is and how like our polycount reduction algorithms operate. But you should see like lossless compression. Like you shouldn't see anything like change in the quality of the app of the 3D model itself. Is it possible to implement AR tech in drones? Oh yeah, definitely. I actually know a company that does something really cool for the U.S. military. They are using drones and AR and Unity to basically overlay data on drone captured video. How to reference any model hosted at Echo on our scene in Unity, because this go away once you exit play mode. So you can save like the data here specifically, and that's like a stateful CMS. It will remember how you set the scene, and then when you press play, and we saw that earlier with the building and the fox, they stayed in the same orientation, same position that we just we declared. Can you show some API calls? Yeah, I'll show you API calls in a sec. I'll go through these and then we'll do the API calls. So we have the data that you can add. There's the payments that you can that you're all going to get the premium tier automatically when you register. This is another cool thing that you can see, like where, like for example, we put the Empire State here in New York, so like it bounces here. You'll be able to see how many people are using your app. Some security features that we provide as well, insights in your app, like how much data you're using, how much you're streaming, how people are using your app. So for example, here we have this thing that like we just streamed the Empire State, so like this peaked at one usage. There's a few tutorials, like frequently asked questions that go back to our documentation here. Again, I highly recommend you use it. And some inspiration. These are like projects that were built with echoAR or project that you can do in AR, VR. Super easy. So people ask about the API. So we have excessive documentation about the API right here. The way to query it, it's like super simple. If I'll just replace this thing with the word query right here, this is what actually the SDKs are doing. And this is actually what the web UI overlays. So this is an example for an API query that returns everything. So for example, remember we uploaded an Empire State Building in New York. So there you go, New York, the latitude and longitude. The file itself, the skyscraper is here. So this is an example of a QR query. I'm sorry, if a API query that you can do in the browser. This is what the Unity SDK, the Android SDK, like everything is doing under the hood. Same thing with the console itself. It actually just overlays the queries to project the data. So the web app, for example, is a web app, like the console that you saw so far is a web app that we've built on top of our API. You can do the same. And this is all the additional data that we can add. So like scale and stuff, everything will be here. You can also query, for example, I don't know, based on file. So if I'll do like file equals, and then I'll take, for example, this storage ID. Let's put it here. It will automatically download the file to my computer. So super easy. All the API queries are defined right here. So you have how objects are set, how queries are being done. So for example, if you want to query the entire database, you can do that. If you want to take a specific entry, you can do that. How to get entries based on a file name. So like all the entries that have a fox in it. Or for example, you want to add, we worked with a company that used a bunch of models, and every model was associated with a scene. So they would, the same way we added scale equals 2 or direction equals left, they would add scene equals 5. And then you were able to query only the objects in scene 5, or only the objects in scene 2, stuff like that. Hopefully that answered the question to show some API calls. Does the hackathon require to build a complete app in echoAR? It could be 50%. As long as you'll be eligible for the echoAR prize, as long as you use our SDK at some capacity, and we'll be able to see that you did that you actually integrated to the code and you did some API calls. So I have 2 minutes left. I'm going to jump back to the slides real quick to recap. So what we talked about again is the same way you don't need to be a web developer to upload a video or an image and stream it to your device. We do the same thing, but for 3D models, animations, and interactive content, and provide you with this bi-directional connection between the content and the application. We've built, again, this 3D content management and delivery network that you can register for today and for free. So make sure you do that. You can either go to a website, or again, you should have gotten a link through your hackathon provider to basically register for free. As I mentioned, how this thing works, you can use any SDK you want, your Arcada, your Core, Vuforia. You can use the content creation console to stream data. We'll build, store, and deliver it to headsets and mobile devices and browsers anywhere on the planet. You save time and money in obviously building your entire backend. You don't need to have technical skills to swap or update data. And obviously, enterprises that we work with, we're able to scale to enterprise level. Can we deploy web apps using echoAR from Unity? I think I'm not sure, to be honest. I think Unity has some web plugin, but I'm not 100% sure. But you can, if Unity is able to do that, then you can do that with the echoAR SDK, because you just like integrate the same SDK. Shader errors, yeah. Specifically, if you compile to Android, know that there is a few shaders that are not supported natively by Android, and you only have to do legacy shaders. But we take care of that in our SDK anyway. So you'll get a recording of this entire thing. You're asking about the presentation. So some more use cases. So we talked about healthcare, interior design is obviously a big one, games, data visualization, tourism, ads, shopping. You're limited only by imaginations. We really look forward to see what you're going to build with Echo. There's a bunch of things that you can build. Again, going back to our company a little bit, well-funded, featured all the tech events in New York, in the United States, and won a bunch of awards. So definitely check us out as well, and ask. And if you're thinking about building things in AR, VR, definitely have us in mind. Yeah, so we're Echo, the track for all the AR camera SDK horses to run at. Again, register for today for our platform. Make sure to register with the link that your organizers provide you to get free access. Yeah, and that was me talking about Echo, helping you build a better app, grow your business, focus on your product, and leave the server side to us. I want to thank you all. We're a minute over. I want to thank you all for participating in this workshop. Thank you so much for asking all these amazing questions. Again, if there's any other questions, feel free to refer to our documentation at docs@echoar.xyz. Feel free to join our Slack channel. You can do that through our website or through the console right here. Register to our Slack. And ask questions in our support channel. Thank you so much. This is, I'm signing off. This is, I'm done on my part. But again, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out. Yeah, thank you so much for this. Stay safe and healthy. I'm gonna move the mic to the event organizers to answer any questions on their end. But thank you so much, and we'll share the recording once we have it. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a good one.